Okay, so we're back here at Baldwin Wallace College for rehearsals for A Nightmare of Crime. This is the original docudrama written, conceived, and directed by BW Theater professor Jack Winget, based on the hidden letters of the Sonderkommando forces in Auschwitz during the Holocaust. This is a moving depiction and a multimedia presentation you do not want to miss. We're following the process all the way through rehearsal, so let's go take a look at rehearsal right now for A Nightmare of Crime.
My father-in-law was a World War II vet. He went into Normandy, and the Normandy beaches. He was wounded. He got the Purple Heart. He got the Bronze Star. He went in on these gliders, you know, behind C-47s that would fly in.
I'm Joe, Sergeant in the U.S. Army.
How'd you clean it?
Saw my fair share of action during the war as a paratrooper in the 101st Airborne. Battle of the Bulge, gliding behind enemy lines, Purple Heart, Bronze Star. But none of that prepared me for this assignment.
He was asked to, because he could speak Polish, to help release prisoners from a mine. And so said, sure, fine. He did that, and he said, Jack, he says, as these things came up, as these people came up, these things, I didn't mean it like that, but as these people came up, he said they were like apparitions. He said, and he, every time he told the story, he broke into tears. He said their skin was translucent. They couldn't, they were blinking in the light. They couldn't see. If you gave them some food, you had to be careful. They didn't eat too much too soon, or they'd die.
I got permission to go to Auschwitz. It was in the Russian zone and supposed to be one of the worst. It was. Because I could speak Polish, I was one of the first Americans there. I wasn't prepared for what I saw.
Something so tragic and so deep and so horrible, having to reenact that, having to play these people, it really gets to you. I know that it's been a real struggle playing this character.
Leave all of your belongings. You are allowed to take nothing, even the smallest parcels. Separate yourselves into two groups. Women there, men there. Still.
This guy was a different kind of evil, a different kind of disturbance.
We were told we were going to resettlement. Jews from all over Europe, Jehovah's Witnesses, homosexuals, gypsies, Poles, resistance fighters, and Soviet POWs ended up here. Anyone not part of the Third Reich? Anyone different? Anyone not part of Hitler's perfect Aryan race were considered subhuman. Not only to be vanquished, but destroyed.
There was a group of men at camp called Sonderkommando. Special workers, or special squad. In 1944, 6 of these men wrote letters documenting their experiences at Auschwitz, burying them among the ashes of the victims.
You know, it started out that because I come from a Jewish family, it's hard to say actually, because the Sonderkommando, for me, they were never spoken of. I've never even heard that word before come from my family or anything.
Let me out! Let me find a mouthful of water for my daughter!
So when I heard they were doing a show on the Sonderkommando, I actually had no idea who they were. But then after, researching and everything, and I actually talked to my parents about it when I told my dad that we're doing a show on the Sonderkommando. He's like, "You're doing a show on the traitors?" And I was like, "What? Like they were known as the traitors?" And so I really had no idea. But you have to be so open-minded with this show, because yes, they were known as the traitors, but they were also, they were forced to do the work just like everybody else who was in the camp.
Well, Otto Moll was in charge of the crematorios in the gas chambers in the Sonderkommandos. My thoughts about him, right before I come on, is Otto Moll. He's described as a renowned sadist, the most evilest, quote unquote, son of a bitch there was there.
Vastislaus! It's the queen! The queen is the Jews! Here, queenie. Beg like a dog.
My child is fainting. She's thirsty. She's dying from hunger.
We did a whole lot of sensitivity work with Jewish heritage and research in the beginning. And I've been on Jack's research team for the past 5 or 6 months. But when we got in rehearsal, we watched a few films. We heard some speakers, some real, survivors, and it was really emotional for a lot of the members in the cast that were playing, the Jews, or Joe playing, the guy that's writing the story. For me to be able to get in the Automall, I kind of try and separate myself from being sympathetic towards the Jews, as hard as that is to hear. But to be able to get into this character and really, be okay with playing it, I kind of had to just kind of block a lot of the stuff I learned out. I still understand it. It's a horror. It was one of the worst things that ever happened in history, and I just try and separate myself so I can get into his character.
Oh, many months ago, Jack, Dr. Winget discussed it with my husband and I, getting our thoughts on it. And then we had some readings to help him visualize what was going on, what it would look like on the stage. And then he asked me to take a small part and to also give some background to the college kids who were in the play about Judaism and about the history of the Holocaust. And it has been an eye-opening experience for me. I think each person will take something from it according to who they are and what their history is and what they know about the whole experience. It'll be different, I think, for every person. It was certainly different for me. I never expected some of the emotions that I'm feeling about it.
Well, that's about it for this episode of Callback. Stay tuned for future episodes because things are really heating up in the theater community. So much to tell you about. We really appreciate you watching. And remember, get involved in your local theater. Audition, volunteer, and definitely go see a show. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.